Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is my first real 2024 themed video. I am going to be doing the vinyl tag the final tag started by Rob Walker over in the UK. Rob is a very nice guy. Uh, really like his channel. He doesn't put out a lot of content, but when he does, he usually has a big purpose behind it. So, Rob, thank you so much for getting these questions started. This is the big thing that brings a lot of us here on YouTube together, talking about these just random questions that Rob has come up with. It gives us a deep dive into collections, etc. So I'm going to jump right into it. Hopefully, I won't make it too long. First question. Favorite record you purchased in 2023? Well, mine was a box set called the Oh Boy Singles box set. I just showed this on a contest entry for Tony at Two from the Trunk. This is a collection of singles put out by John Prine. This is the lid. I don't have the full thing. It's sitting over in my living room, but this is easier to carry. But it's a replica jukebox, and it has all the singles that were released by John Prine on his Oh Boy record label. So really cool limited edition box set. Number two, the last record you bought in 2023. Well, this is the last record that came in. I don't know if it was technically the last record I purchased, but it was the last record delivered to my door in 2023. I'm not counting Christmas presents because those were gifts. This is the Rolling Stones' It's Only Rock and Roll. This was from the Sound of Vinyl sale, and I'm happy to have this to add to my Stones collection. So there you go. A band or singer who released two or more albums in the same year. Well, I'm going to go with somebody that released three releases in the year 2023, and that is Mr. Van Morrison. He put out this album called Moving on Skiffle. There's a 2 CD covers album of a bunch of skiffle songs. The track listing is there. I've talked about this album ad nauseum. One of my favorite records of 2023. Then he put out a instrumental album called Beyond Words Instrumental. This one kind of flew under the radar. Kind of cheating with this. Most of these were recorded before 2023, if not all of them. And some of them date back all the way to the 70s, but they're all instrumental songs that Van Morrison performs, either with his saxophone, guitar, etc. So really cool to have that. Nice, easy listening. And then the last album he put out, Accentuate the Positive. He did a bunch of cover tunes on this as well. I believe on vinyl this was a 2-record set, but he does stuff like You Are My Sunshine, Accentuate the Positive, Bonaparte's Retreat, The Shape I'm In, Blueberry Hill, Shake, Rattle, and Roll. So Van Morrison with 3 from 2023, which is, considering he's what, 77-ish, that's pretty impressive. Even if they're covers, that's pretty impressive. Um, if you could only listen to music from one decade, which decade would you choose? I thought about this. I'm going to go with the 70s because the 70s gives me some prime Bob Dylan music, who I love. It gives me some prime John Prine, who I love. My buddy Rob at Northern Revolutions mentioned I get one Beatles album with Let It Be. Most of the Beatles prime peak solo material, I get all that. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, a lot of their peak stuff. Eagles, ELO, Jackson Browne, Tom Waits, a lot of his early stuff. Just all sorts of great music from the 70s. I thought about the 60s, but the 60s, there's first 2 or 3 years, I lose out on a lot. There's some good stuff there, but as a whole, the 70s are it. Plus, if I want disco, I got some disco too. Show a record by a band or singer from Manchester. I had to go with Davy Jones, also known as the Manchester Cowboy. This is a live album released by 7A Records, live in Japan when the Monkees had their resurgence in the 80s. Mickey and Davy both toured over in Japan. This is cool. It comes with 2 discs as well as a live DVD. And what's cool about this is he does a lot of songs that he didn't sing with the Monkees. Like he does, I'm a Believer. Where is it? Um, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, Last Train to Clarksville, theme from the Monkees. So Davy Jones from Manchester. Which band or singer did you listen to the most in 2023? Bobby. I mentioned him in my 2023 wrap up. Yeah, listen to a lot of Bob Dylan. That's usually the case. This is Street Legal, one of the worst back covers of any record, but Bob Dylan by a landslide. Show 7 7-inch records. I chose all picture sleeves, no particular order. Bryan Adams, Straight from the Heart with One Good Reason. So yeah, one of Bryan's big hits. The biggest single of the year, Now and Then by the Beatles. Y'all all know that. This is Grits and Eggs with Dawn Patrol, the Blue Stingrays. They are an instrumental group comprised of Mike Campbell, Benmont Tench, Ron Blair, and Randall Marsh from Mudcrutch, and the other three guys are from the Heartbreakers, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This is a side project where they did instrumental surf music. So that was a Record Store Day release. This is a group called The Devil Makes Three. They're just like a great kind of punk bluegrass old time kind of band. This is their song Puppets with Days Are So Long. That came out last year, I believe. The Dirty Knobs, Humdinger, as well as the B-side, Feeling High. Dirty Knobs, Mike Campbell from the Heartbreakers. Again, another Record Store Day thing. CCR, Traveling Band with Who'll Stop the Rain. Also, I get a lot of CCR with the 70s. The Monkees, I'm a believer with I'm Not Your Stepping Stone. This was a gift from my buddy Alan C. Records, so thank you, Alan. All right, who's coming to your party? Choose 4 music-related people to come to an imaginary dinner party, past or present, who you would invite. I'm going with songwriters, obviously. John Prine, Tom Waits, Bob Dylan, and Nick Drake. I would love to talk to Nick Drake. I know he seems like a very shy person. Not a lot's known about him. I would love to learn about Nick Drake. So I think 4 of those songwriters in a room, that's pretty sweet. We lost them. Choose one musician who passed away last year. I'm going to go with Gordo. I got to see Gordon Lightfoot with my dad. Once with my mom and dad in 2009. He was my first concert. And then Dad and I saw him in early 2022. And just a heavy loss. Great singer-songwriter out of Canada. So Gordon Lightfoot, fantastic. Imagine you could only listen to music from one country. Which country would you choose? I had to go with the USA. I thought long and hard about the UK. But the USA, because again, I get Dylan, I get John Prine, I get Tom Petty, I get the Eagles, Springsteen, Jackson Browne, jazz like Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Bill Evans, Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra. Like I get Statler Brothers, who I love. So I've got to go with the USA. Sorry everybody else. Name 3 vinyl community channels you discovered last year. I'm going to go with some of my core group, 2 members of my core group, and then another channel that I've subscribed to recently. Love these guys, Jason Arsenault and Alex over at Beer and Vinyl. Fantastic guys. Jason's out of British Columbia. Alex is up in Ohio. Got to meet Alex earlier in the fall. He came down here. We spun some records, went to a record show. And then the third one is going to be Anthony over at Gambler 812, and it's spelled GMBLR. And if I remember, I'm going to try to put all 3 of those in the description. Anthony's up in Boston, just the nicest dude. We'd have a good time hanging out for sure. So love you guys. You're awesome. Show a record you bought when you were a teenager. I'm going to go with the first record, and it was a gift because I didn't have a record player long when I was a teenager. I quickly got into my 20s. This is Abbey Road by the Beatles, the very first vinyl record that was given to me, and I absolutely love it. Second favorite album of all time. Enough said about that. Show a funk or soul record. I'm going to go with a Record Store Day exclusive. This is Turnaround. These are kind of, extra cuts from the On the Corner sessions, alternate takes. This is some wild stuff on this record. Funky, jazzy, a little rocky, just all over the place jazz, but I like it a lot. And just sweet artwork as well. Show a record you think everyone has, then show a record you think nobody has. This is kind of like the traditional standard. I mean, I could have done Dark Side of the Moon, Rumors, any Beatles album, Born in the USA, but I decided to go with Whipped Cream and Other Delights because I don't show Herb Alpert hardly ever. But fantastic little album from the 60s. Everybody knows it. We've all seen it in the Goodwill. So there you go. And then this album I just showed for albums that I don't think anybody has. This is a advanced pressing of Live at the Palais by Michael Nesmith of the Monkees. This is a record that came out on his label Pacific Arts in the 70s. Really, really good stuff. I have another copy thanks to my buddy Chris Prophy with the the artwork, but this is a advanced copy that I found in North Carolina at Harvest Records in Asheville earlier in December. So I don't think anybody has that I know of. Maybe Harry over at Harry's Music Room might have it. She's Great, a record by a female artist you bought in 2023. I'm going to pick an artist who came out with a new album in 2023. This is Molly Tuttle and her album El Dorado. She is a fantastic finger picker guitar, flat picker. She can play banjo. She's just an all-around great musician. She is currently dating Ketch Secor of Old Crow Medicine Show. But I got to see her open acoustically for Old Crow back in March of 2023 with my cousin Ethan. And we got to see Molly open for them, and I became an instant fan. This is a really cool album. She sometimes veers a little bit too into, topics of songs that I don't really want to get into, but I'm not a big fan of that. But most of these songs, I think all these songs were co-written by Ketch Secor as well, and a lot of the Old Crow guys are on this. And Dave Matthews is on a song called Yosemite. So Molly Tuttle, I gotta keep rolling here. The favorite video you posted on your channel in 2023, and the favorite video that you watched. My favorite video, I think that I made just original content, was a video where I talked about my love of Cosmic Country and why I liked Cosmic Country. It kind of spawned into other little mini series that I'm still kind of open-ended with, where I talk about artists kind of in depth and why I got into them and some stories behind that. But with the Cosmic Country video, I talked about, the Byrds, Michael Nesmith, Marty Stewart, things like that, where, it's a merging of psychedelia, rock and roll, country, that kind of thing. So that's probably my favorite video that I made. But I also enjoy, all the collaborations that I'm part of too. My buddy Alex was down here. My buddy Tommy over in North Carolina. Just, hanging out with those guys and, doing that kind of thing. And then all the collaborations on YouTube. But in terms of original content, the Cosmic Country. Favorite video that I watched, I gotta go with my buddy Steve over at All the World's a Stage. I hit 1,000 subscribers this year, and Steve did quite a tribute on his channel. Absolutely loved it, and it was hilarious. I love Steve. He's an awesome guy. Thank you, Steve, for being a great friend. So, show me a record you describe as a 90s classic. I gotta go with Oasis. What's the Story? Morning Glory from 1994 or 5. This has Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova, Hello, Don't Look Back in Anger. Fantastic. Britpop from the 90s. Noel Gallagher with the songs. Liam with the voice. Pure magic. Love, love, love that record. It's in my top 10 favorite of all time. If I could walk into the cover, look through your record collection, and show a record you'd like to be a part of, I'm going to go with the boys in Old Crow Medicine Show. I just mentioned them earlier. This is their album Volunteer. The core members of this group are out of Harrisonburg, Virginia. And I just imagine, this picture wasn't taken in Virginia that I'm aware of, but these guys were discovered busking by Doc Watson, the bluegrass picker. And I can just imagine walking into this. They're standing here, and I just imagine people standing around waiting to hear them busk. And I would love to see them, like, kind of on a street corner playing fiddle tunes and that sort of thing. That'd be really cool. So, Volunteer, Old Crow Medicine Show. It's like a greatest hit. Show a record that you're familiar with, like a greatest hit, but you're so familiar with it feels like a greatest hits. Full Moon Fever, Tom Petty. Again, another top album for me. This was his first solo record produced by Jeff Lynne, and includes Mike Campbell is all over this record. as a record, I mean, it kind of plays like the greatest hits, whether you like Tom Petty or not. You've got Free Fallin', I Won't Back Down, Running Down a Dream, You're So Bad, Feel a Whole Lot Better. And then like even like the deep cuts, the Apartment Song, Zombie Zoo, Depending on You, All Right for Now. I can sing this album in my sleep. So Full Moon Fever for me is like the greatest hits. And number 20, Show an Album, released 50 years ago in 1974. This is from my buddy Rich Strickler. This is Jackson Browne's Late for the Sky. A lot of people consider this his magnum opus. It's not my favorite. I prefer Running on Empty, but look at that handsome devil. We have Late for the Sky, Fountain of Sorrow, For a Dancer, Before the Deluge. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful songs by Jackson Browne. And this record is 50 years old, believe it or not. So there you go, Rob. This was a really, really fun thread. I've really enjoyed watching people's responses so far. Hope y'all enjoy my 2 cents into it. So subscribe to Rob. I'm going to have his. I'm going to have Alex and Jason and Anthony's channel links below. And if I remember, I'm also going to put Steve's video down below as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Here's to 2024. Let's make it a good one without any fear, as John Lennon once sang. So in the meantime, y'all be good, subscribe, and we'll talk to you in the next one.